not sure if you joined the right meeting, I want to tell you that you are in the right place. Hola, hola, buenos días. Están reunidos con el grupo para estudiar las metas de LCAP. Ustedes van a aumentar su conocimiento y capacitación para saber más de lo que son las metas aquí en el distrito. De las metas 1, 2 y 7. Vamos a traer mucha información importante. Soy Ms. Guerrero y soy la administradora aquí en el Distrito Local Central de Involucramiento de Padres. I am the PACE administrator here in Local District Central. I'm so glad that you've joined us. This is going to be a wonderful session, and I'm going to turn it right over to two of our parent leaders, our PAC members that are with us today that are going to get you set up. If you would like assistance with the interpretation, quiero presentar a dos de nuestros padres líderes del PAC que van a presentar la información acerca de cómo estar, cómo participar en esta sesión. So Ms. Hernandez, Ms. Elorza, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ms. Guerrero. So good morning, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Hernandez. I'm one of the parents. And well, I want to welcome you guys to our local District Central LCAP Study Group Section 4. Before starting our session, I just want to inform you that this is a meeting that will be presented in English and will be simultaneous Spanish and ASL interpretation. To listen to this presentation in Spanish or English, you will need to click on the globe icon at the bottom of the screen and select the language preference for you. You will engage and listen to the presentation in the language you selected. We have a slide for that. There you go. And on the phone, you will click on the 3 dots that say more and select the language of interpretation that you prefer. And I'm going to pass it on to Señora Elorza. Señora Elorza, ¿nos puede traducir?
Buenos días, mi nombre es Rocío Elorza. Antes que nada, gracias a todos por estar aquí. Y como dijo mi compañera, esta será una reunión que tendrá traducción simultánea. Para esto, lo que usted debe de hacer, haga clic en el símbolo del número en la parte de abajo de su pantalla, seleccione el idioma que le gustaría escuchar, participará y escuchará la presentación en el idioma que seleccione. Los servicios de interpretación también están disponibles en los teléfonos. En los 3 puntitos, usted puede tocar y ahí le va a salir los diferentes idiomas que tiene. Escoja español y es todo lo que necesita hacer. Gracias. Next slide, please.
All right, next slide. Thank you for getting us set up. We want you to participate, parents. If you do have questions, you can use the chat. Because we were here to support you and help you participate in this session. We would also like, if you could please rename yourself in this session to add your name to your Zoom square. And also, if you would like to if you are participating today in English or in Spanish. So I'm going to do a sample. You're going to hover on the 3 dots on your picture, on your video. I'm going to go to the bottom, click rename, going to type in Megan Guerrero. I'm participating today. I'm going to say Spanish, SP for Spanish. Click rename. And there you can see now my name is Megan Guerrero. I'm participating in Spanish. Or if you're participating in English, EN. If it just doesn't seem to be working on your Zoom participation, you can tell us in the chat. This will be useful later when we get into breakout rooms so that we can all participate in the same language. So if you can rename yourself and add the language that you're participating in, super helpful for our breakout rooms. If not, go ahead and drop it in the chat and we will make sure to add you to the right breakout room later on. Next slide. Again, engaging on Zoom today, please use the chat to type your questions, comments. I see a lot of good mornings and it is a beautiful day out there after the rain. Wonderful to see you here. Thank you again for engaging and participating with us today. There's a number there on the screen as well and an email of one of our PACE staff members, Ms. So No, and she is available if you need additional support. There she is. Please call her or email her and she is ready to assist you. And again, we are here using the chat and we do keep all of our microphones silenced so that everyone can hear the information. All right, next slide. As I was saying, right, we have our microphones on mute and please place your questions in the chat. We will be dropping information there as well. Please be patient with technology. We also want to make sure that you are able to get all of the information throughout this meeting. And I want to make sure, all right, I'm going to hand this over. I believe that one of our PAC members is going to present this information. Hold on, let me get back here. All right. Let me turn it over to one of our parent leaders who I believe is presenting this information. Carlos, is he here?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. I'm going to hand it over to our parent leaders again, who are going to take us through these next couple of steps.
Hi, thank you, Ms. Guerrero. So welcome everyone. It's great to see you on this wonderful day right after the rains, as they've said, and it really sets the tone with this good energy, lots of light and sunshine for all of us today. So we have a meeting full of information for you all. For those that are new, it's going to be a great opportunity for you all to start catching up on the information and be able to provide your input, which is the main reason why I hope that you're here so you can participate. But one of the things that we need to do is we need to set some norms, some rules in preparation for our meeting so everything runs smoothly. Now, first of all, as Ms. Guerrero said, we would like you to mute. I know sometimes we're on the phone and on the go, but we still want to be here and present, but we forget to we forget to silence that phone, and we hear you ordering your food or telling your kids to get dressed, or traffic. Please be mindful of the meeting and the meeting space and mute to the best of your ability. If you don't, we will do a friendly reminder for you to go ahead and mute yourself. This is so we can continue with the business at hand. If you have any questions, the best way to put your questions to be heard is putting them on the chat. Open the chat feature at the bottom with the little voice bubble. Put your question in there in Spanish or English, and someone from the team will get you. They are very good at getting to all of our questions. The next one is please be patient. We're all here in this space together, and by my count, I see almost 60 participants. So patience is going to be a virtue that we're going to all exercise. Be flexible and always be mindful that we are dealing with technology. It's not like we're in person, right? And even if we were in person, we'd have to raise our hand, wave, and wait for our turn. The other thing is be positive. Always presume positive intentions. Please try not to assume if someone has negative intentions by their statement, by their comment. And if you do have questions about that, please ask for clarification. We all mean well. We're all in this together, and we really want to make sure that we can move forward in a positive way. Reactions, if you can and you're able to, it's great to see your reactions throughout the meeting. Thumbs up, happy face, laughing. It shows that you're engaged, you're participating, and it gives feedback to the team that you are capturing the essence and the ideas and the information, and it does provide them a lot of feedback. They put a lot of time and effort into these meetings in preparation. I've seen it. So it's good to get reactions from you, and be present as best as you can. I know we're a lot of the times multitasking, juggling. If we would, we could juggle even more, but try to be present when we have this space, and we have the breakout rooms, especially be present. And in that, we ask you to step up, use your voice and contribute to the conversation. I know sometimes it can be hard, but your information, your input, what you have to say, and your opinion and your point of view really matters, and it's very important for you to step up and voice those concerns, voice those issues. And at the same time, we ask those of us who are very open to communication and can stand up in front of large crowds and speak, to be able to step back, to be mindful that there's others, and we need to make space for others' contributions so we can all share in this meeting space and in the dialogue equally. Next slide, please. So I want to quickly introduce our local district central parent advisory committee members for the 22-2023 calendar year. We have Ivania Morales, Rocio Elorza, Ana Carrion, Sofia Villalpando, Marcela Garcia, Yajaira Beltran, Richard Courtney, Rebecca Cortez, Kimberly Vargas, Elizabeth Hernandez, Yulisa Carias, and myself, Carlos Aguilar. We are happy and proud and honored to have been selected by the membership of local district. And if there's anything you need, you can contact us. But we hope to do you justice in representing your needs, your concerns, but at the same time, we look forward to your participation as we continue with these sessions. Next slide. And now I will introduce Ms. Elorza to continue this conversation. Thank you.
Gracias, compañero Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos. We appreciate you so much. And I want to present Miss Elizabeth Hernandez, and she is representing at-large. She's an at-large representative. Go ahead, Miss Elizabeth. Thank you. I forgot to mention that I represent free and reduced price meal program. Now, I will give you a small report. In reality, we haven't really started our meetings. The last meeting we had was when we were elected within our districts to be part of this committee, and we have selected our officials. Tomorrow is our first meeting, our first official meeting. If you'd like to meet with us, if you'd like to join, it's open to the public. And we'd like everyone to be part of this so you can see what it is that we do at PAC and what we try to do. Thank you. And we wait for you. And for myself, it's an honor to present two people of our committee. It's CSC, and this is where we are being represented. We are supporting special needs students. I'm not sure if Miss Mirna Sweeney and Mijumura is with us. I'm not sure if they can unmute themselves and present themselves. Thank you. Are they here now? I apologize. That is what I have on my slide. But no problem. Thank you.
Senora Lorsa, do we have our CAC members? Not, if our CAC members do join us, then we can add them to our, they can definitely present for us. But for right now, let's just go on with the outcomes for our meetings. And I believe we're going to pass that to Ms. Elizabeth Hernandez. So thank you so much. Miss.
To capture the feedback. Next slide. So inclusion, why do we decide to attend our study group meeting today? So I would like for you guys to put in the chat 1, 2, 3, or 4. Number 1 is to learn something new. Number 2, to provide feedback. Number 3, to collaborate with others. Or number 4, I clicked the link in the text I just got. So please put in the chat why you guys joined this meeting today. You know, from 1 through 4, what made you come to this meeting? This is very helpful for us, so we know, you know, why people are joining the meetings and what we need to address. Thank you.
So good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to join you today. I'm so glad that you're here. We are having a few technical difficulties. I'm hoping that you all can hear me and that you're able to see the screen. So first of all, let's review what the LCAP is and how you can be involved in the process to make an impact. I noticed in the chat, someone asked, what does LCAP even stand for? LCAP stands for Local Control and Accountability Plan. And we're going to find out a little bit more about that right now. So we have our purpose. So we get together to study this local control and accountability plan. And so we want to, first of all, build understanding around that LCAP and to make sure that as large of a group of parents as we can muster has an understanding of this of the funding and how our district utilizes that funding to support all of our students and especially our targeted populations. We also are here to capture feedback about the LCAP programs and fundings, as I said. So once we talk about it, we also want you to give us some ideas of your thoughts of what things are working and how we can make things better. And finally, we're here to provide opportunity for parents to serve on our district level parent advisory committee, who you've met at least 3 of them already today. And hopefully you'll have an opportunity during our breakout sessions to meet a few more of them. Next slide, please. All right, so our LCAP study group's vision is to see that there's some articulation between what happens at the school site and what goes on at the district level. So let's look at the highlighted text to see how we're aligned. As for the work of the LCAP at schools, parents review the school level targeted student population plan for the school level LCAP funds in the SSC. At the local district, parents review the district level local control and accountability plan through our study group, what we're doing right here. And then at the district level, parents can also participate on the parent advisory committee to put input into the plan. But instead of this, the way that we look at it right in the highlighted version, it looks very hierarchical. But the relationship is really more nuanced than that. It's more of a web of connections between the students and families being at the center, and the other entities within LAUSD that families can communicate with, and who the other entities communicate with the families directly. So we have our parent and community services, we have our school contacts that we have contacts within the district as a whole, who some folks will be here to represent that as well. We also have our PAC members, our parent advisory committee members that you'll be meeting. And hopefully we'll have a little later on, maybe some of our community advisory committee folks to join us. In addition, we have our district ELAC, our English Learner Advisory Committee too. So we have all of these entities coming together to make sure that student achievement stays at the center, and that we use our funds in a way that is beneficial for all of our students. Next slide, please. So once again, what is the LCAP? The LCAP is the Local Control and Accountability Plan. It's a 3-year plan that describes how a district will utilize the state funds to support all students and high need students under the local control funding formula. It needs to get approved every year in June. And what the optimal thing to happen is that various stakeholders groups have opportunities throughout the year to provide feedback on the LCAP every year before it's approved. So we're actually it's a 3-year plan. We're actually in the first year of a 3-year cycle. So many things have changed from the previous year and to this year. Can you please go to the next slide? All right, so just going over some more of the basics of the LCAP. So due to the input and the feedback from families last year, through the previous 3 years, this year's LCAP actually has 9 goals. Previously we had 6 goals, but some additional goals were added for this year. And so we have 9 goals with 80 actions and 77 measurements to measure the success and progress toward those goals. This year is being funded by $63 billion to support these goals. And I just want to add that there are 2 kinds of LCAP actions or strategies, ways that we go about allocating these funds. We have some base funded actions that these funds go to all of our students, and they go to support the progress of all of the students. And then we have some targeted student population funded actions. And those funds go toward increasing or improving services to close equity gaps for English learners, low-income students, and students in foster care. But you may recognize those are the three groups or three of the groups that our PAC members, our Parent Advisory Committee members represent. And then we also have our at-large group that represents all of our students. Next slide, please. And so today, parent feedback is going to be collected through the thought exchange. And this feedback is going to be shared with our district leaders and local district leaders, our Parent Advisory Committee, who many of them are here today, as well as our District English Learner Advisory Committee folks. Javier, could you go back one slide? I think we have a little bit of time. I do want to check, do we have our CAC members here? Is anyone?
They had their time down as 11 o'clock, so I'm not sure how we want to adjust the agenda, but they did message me and say they were prepared for 11 o'clock. So we can make it a quick adjustment maybe towards before we do our breakouts.
Sounds good, sounds good. All right, so then you know what, I think then we'll just continue on with our presentation and that'll work out just fine. That's perfect. All righty, so next slide, please. All right, so we're about to begin our study. We're about to begin our presentations that will be given for each one of the goals that we'll be looking at today. We'll be looking at goal 1, which is 100% graduation. We'll be looking at goal 2 on our LCAP, which is the proficiency for all. And we'll also be looking at goal 7, which is supports for English learners. And so we have local district personnel, local district staff here ready to share that information with you. And then after that, we're going to get together and we're going to talk about this during our breakout sessions today. And during the breakout sessions, well, before the breakout sessions, what we want you to do is to be thinking about during these presentations, we want you to think about what programs, what workshops, what services and opportunities related to the goals that we're going to be speaking about today. What opportunities exist at your school? How about within the community of schools? What programs are you aware of at your community of schools in the local district and the central district? Right? And so as we talk about this, it might be a great idea for you to take notes today, because we have 3 goals and lots of information to share with you, so that during our discussion, during the breakout groups, you'll have the opportunity to kind of remember some of the things that really stood out for you. We also want to remind you, if you have to leave early today, the thought exchange is available to you, and it will be available and open until February 6th. So if you don't get to it quite today, then please feel free. You can always provide your feedback and ideas through this thought exchange. I'm looking here. We'll be definitely putting this in the chat, this link here in the chat, but you can also use the QR code right there to access the thought exchange. That's the platform that we use to collect information, to collect your ideas and your feedback about the different LCAP goals. All right, so with no further ado, I want to we want to learn together a little bit more about goal 1 of the LCAP. So would you please, next slide, please. So I'm going to hand off now to Mr. Dixon Perry, and he will give us a little bit more information about 100% graduation, about that particular goal, and we'll review the metrics and actions for that goal. I'm handing it off to you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations on great work that's happening with PACE. I'm Dr. Dixon Pere. I'm the local district central counseling coordinator, here to talk about outcome 2 overview metrics and actions for LCAP goal number 1, 100% graduation rate. Next slide. So let's go ahead and begin with an overview of the LCAP goal number 1, which is 100% graduation rate. LAUSD remains committed to ensuring that every student graduates, and furthermore, that they graduate college and career ready. This goal has 10 metrics and 10 actions in total. In 2021-22, the goal total expenditure was $197.8 million. In local district central, we have had historic graduation rates district-wide at 98%. And we continue to do great work district-wide in engaging with high school teams and doing A through G data talks to ensure that we maintain coherence to this goal. Next slide. So as we measure 100% graduation rate, the district looks at a range of metrics, including graduation rates, dropout rates, career technical education completion rates. As we look at these slides, a couple of wonderings and questions you may want to ask is, what is the graduation rate and dropout rate at the different schools that my children have attended or are currently attending? For A through G completion rate, what is the percentage of students that are at a different campus? How many students are receiving C and above in university level coursework that will get them college and career ready? For CTE technical education completion rate and A through G and CTE completion rate, the question would be asked, what type of pathways are available to students at different locations? Every high school has an opportunity to have a concentrator capstone sequence in their master schedule. So what pathways are available? There is a very strong focus for every campus to have embedded college level classes taught at the high school level. So that's called advanced placement. And while there is a real good focus for enrolling students into these courses, what percentage are students passing the annual examination in May? And what percent of 11th grade students are prepared for college as measured by our annual assessment in English and math? Are students exceeding or meeting these state requirements? Next slide. As we look at base actions for goal number 1 of 100% graduation rate, this includes 4 base funded actions at a total of $91.6 million. So to reach these targets, the LCAP includes the following base funded actions to support all students: options program, summer school credit recovery, career technical education, and special education transition services. So the real question that we ask is, what type of plans are in place to enable students who want to be college and career ready to have credit recovery opportunities, to be career ready with career pathways, and to ensure that special education students have a plan that is connecting them outside into new opportunities for their transition into the real world. For both of these 2 slides I just talked about, the real question is, what kind of data analysis procedures are taking place in school sites to analyze what goals are going to be addressed throughout the year, what targets are going to be addressed. Also, how is this communicated to stakeholders, in particular students and parents? Next slide. So there are 6 TSP actions under the goal of 100% graduation that close equity for English language and low-income students and students in foster care, which adds up to $106 million. So to reach these targets, the LCAP includes the following TSP actions to close equity gaps for LCFF target student groups, district level graduation readiness supports, A through G interventions, targeted school level graduation readiness supports, the diploma program, college access program, increase access to advanced placement and international baccalaureate programs, link learning, school level investments to SENI funds to increase access to programs and supports for 100% graduation. So go ahead and take a minute to review these actions, and in the chat, type in which actions you would like to learn more about. So take about 30 seconds to ask the question, I don't know much about this. And in about 15 more seconds, we'll go ahead and thank you so much. I see action 10, school level investments to SENI funds. Any other wonderings or questions? If you don't have any right now, maybe this next slide will inspire some thoughts as we go into the thought exchange. Next slide. So as we go into our thought exchange, the last final thoughts that I will give for all of you is this idea of, is this happening in the schools? This last month was October College Awareness Month, where LD Central celebrated in a large way our college and career fair with over 2,000 students participating from a number of our high school campuses. But in order to best prepare for college, there are actions that happen throughout the lifespan. So to celebrate College Awareness Month, the district has made it a point to kick off activities to ensure that college awareness starts in elementary school. So in partnership to University of California, Los Angeles, the Division of Instruction created some principles that schools should consider as they prepare students for post-secondary education and beyond. So in elementary schools, is this happening? Is college talk happening in the classroom? Is it clear about what it takes to get to college? Are these expectations being clear about the goals and preparing students on post-secondary options? 3, information and resources. Do students, do parents have access to information resources relating to college, even in elementary school? 4, curriculum. Do schools make a commitment to provide resources for students to prepare them for grade level standards that are explicitly taught with rigorous curriculum in every year in each classroom? 5, faculty involvement. Are faculty integrating opportunities to say, hey, you could go to college, this is the information, and let's get you there prepared for middle school, prepared for high school. And family involvement. Do families get an idea of what the HCG requirements are? Do they have an idea of how to be involved early on? And 7, are colleges partnering with elementary schools? So these are the principles that UCLA recommended to LAUSD. And if it's not happening in now, they still have the entire year to have these actions take place. As you transition into middle school, an added component is our middle schools partnering with elementary and high schools, that it is seamless, that this idea of every student has an opportunity to choose college as an option, and how can they navigate through these pathways. And again, going back to data analysis for high school, what are the college going rates? What's the baseline for getting into college? What programs are in place? So with that, that was a lot of information, but we are committed in Local District Central to get to 100% graduation rate. And I thank Ms. Guerrero for inviting me to share a little bit on this topic. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. And thanks for your feedback, parents, in the chat. And you will have opportunities to discuss this in the breakout rooms. Thank you so much, Dr. Pere. We are going to move on to our next goal. Ms. Saint Amant, I'll turn it back over to you. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Lomeli, who's going to quickly give us an overview of Goal 2 before our presenters give you some detailed information about the ways that the district is implementing these goals.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you this morning. I'm going to talk about make an overview of Goal 2, Proficiency for All. Los Angeles Unified School District remains committed to ensuring that every student succeeds and thrives academically, right? Without this focus on proficiency, Goal 1, 100% graduation would not be attainable. This goal has 18 metrics and 29 actions. In 2021-2022, this goal's total expenditure was $4.45 billion. We can go to the next slide. The second LCAP goal houses the majority of LCAP funding. So the largest number of metrics and actions and strategies are right within Goal 2. There are 18 metrics and 29 actions, with 15 of them supporting all students and 14 supporting specifically English learners, low income, and foster youth. In the next slide, you'll see a continuation of the metrics from this goal. As you can see, there are a lot of metrics for Goal 2, Proficiency for All. Okay, and you can see the percent of students with disabilities who are in the general education program at least 80% of the school day, the percent of students whose eligibility for special education services were determined within the 60 days of guidelines, the percent of students with disabilities who receive 100% of services specified in their IEPs, the local indicator, which is the implementation of academic standards, and the local indicator, which is the access to a broad course of study. And we can go to the next slide. This slide summarizes the number of base actions in this goal. If you wanted to look at each action specifically, please feel free to visit the LAUSD LCAP website. You will find the LCAP, but if you don't want to peruse through those pages, you can check out the executive summary, where you will see a visual of all of the actions and funding attached to each of those actions for Goal 2. The base actions total $2.95 billion. Okay, and we're gonna share the link in the chat, achieve.lausd.net/LCAP. We're gonna go to the next slide. And the actions for Goal 2, right, are specifically to close the equity gaps for our English learners, our foster youth, and low-income students. The 14 TSP actions are also summarized on this slide. Again, if you would like to look at all of the actions, you can visit the LCAP website. These 14 actions have an expenditure of $1.49 billion. And now I'm going to hand off to Ms. Carrie Berger. Thank you, everyone, for your attention.
Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to be here with all of you. My name is Carrie Berger. I'm the elementary ELA coordinator for lovely local district central. I wanted to share with you just a reminder first of some of the elementary ELA metrics. So as you just referred to in the previous slides, one of the goals is that we increase our smarter balance results. So we're looking at the distance that students are at from the standard that's met in ELA for grades 3 through 5. We also look at our DIBELS, which is an assessment that we use to determine students' foundational reading skills. So we're looking at the percentage of students that are meeting those early literacy benchmark in kinder, first and second grade specifically, but also our students in grades 3, 4, and 5 are also assessed with the DIBELS in case there are any discrepancies in their reading abilities and foundational reading. Share with you some of the actions that we're taking at our local district and within our schools. I'm going to point out a couple of things. Our schools, our elementary schools have what is called an early language and literacy plan, or ELP, designee at school sites. So what that means is that the principal selects a designee that has experience and has gone to training around the science of reading, foundational reading. And that person is a facilitator with teachers at looking at the DIBELS scores, looking at the data for students, helping the teachers form small groups, so that during their small group instruction component of the day, they're meeting with small groups of students and targeting the skills and standards that they need to develop. The ELP designee also provides professional development for the school site, helps teachers find the resources that they need for students based on their performance levels, and just closing that gap for our students that still need to develop skills. We also have, not at all of our schools, but at 50 of our schools, we have primary promise teachers. The position of a primary promise teacher is to provide small group instruction, which is tier 2, which is beyond what the classroom teacher is doing in their own classroom. The primary promise teacher either pulls students out or pushes in and works with a small group of students in the classroom. The primary promise teachers work with our students that have performed at well below benchmark in the DIBELS. So again, in closing that gap and providing remediation for students that need extra support and skills. So we have 50 schools, and those schools were determined based on the data at the school from the Division of Instruction. We also have, as a large district, all of LAUSD, we have professional development for teachers on foundational literacy skills. So we have training around the science of reading with letters by a reading specialist and researcher. We also have training around Orton Gillingham, which is a structure for how to teach students to develop their reading skills. And then also teachers are receiving professional development training through a book study on reading. And then also several other small trainings that they can attend as a whole group during their Tuesday bank time or independently. Newly, the Division of Instruction has offered an upper grade intervention. We know that some of our 3rd through 5th grade students that struggle to read, particularly after a pandemic, when they were learning online, and there might be some differences in their level of ability of reading. So we're offering schools an upper grade intervention that our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade teachers can be trained on. They'll also receive the materials and resources for the Reading Horizons program. And then they will also have follow-up coaching and training on a monthly basis to use this program in small groups for our upper grade students in elementary. In terms of school site professional development, myself and some of the community of school coordinators and experts provide PD around analyzing their data and planning. Also in our local district, the focus has been writing. So we have been offering professional development for principals and staff on how to develop students' writing ability towards writing standards, and ensuring that all of our students are being provided tasks that are aligned to the standards. And then again, more professional development on looking at student data and assessments, and then planning targeted interventions for in the classroom as well as outside of the classroom. And then, as I'm sure you all know, we also have our tutoring after school. We have several programs that are offering tutoring at all of our campuses. So I'm also supporting those schools, especially with programs like Springboard, which I know isn't on the slide, but I wanted to add that information. And so those are some of the things that we're doing to support elementary reading and writing instruction at our schools and at the larger district. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for providing that update and specific information. We're going to also talk about mathematics within the same goal 2. So goal 2 includes what we were just discussing around English language arts. And now we're going to talk a little bit about mathematics. So I'd like to introduce Ricardo Romero.
Good morning, buenos dias. So I'm Ricardo Romero, the elementary math coordinator. Similarly to what Carrie Berger mentioned about literacy, math has a great focus on our 3rd through 5th graders, since they are assessed on the Smarter Balance results. And we know that one of our goals is to measure the distance of proficiency. Some of the actions that we are taking at our school sites and throughout our district is to give our students an opportunity to practice and for teachers to monitor their progress on math assessments. One of those assessments for K through 5 is called Edulastic Math. And this year they are taking what they call a pre and a post test. So parents, if for some reason your child has a pre-test result that doesn't look great, don't worry. It's a pre-test, which means that all the standards have not been taught at this time. However, when they take the post-test, we expect growth. So it's a good way for you as a parent to compare how your child is doing in math by looking at the pre-test and then looking at a post-test. During parent conferences, which are next week, I would recommend for you to talk to your child's teacher and to explain to you how they did on their Edulastic assessment, especially K through 2nd. That is a great method of monitoring how they're doing on their foundational number skills. For our 3rd through 5th graders, similarly, they take a state practice assessment, if you will, that's called Smarter Balance, that tries to measure how they are doing on an interim math assessment. So it's a partial way of seeing how students are making progress on certain math domains, they call them, which are just certain math concepts divided up through the year. And so our students 3rd through 5th go online and they practice taking the test. Again, it's a pre and a post. They just finished the pre-test last Friday. Again, parent conferences are coming up. So especially 3rd through 5th grade parents, highly recommend that you ask your teachers about the students' progress through 3rd through 5th, and perhaps how they plan to support the students to make sure that they do better on the post-test. Because again, a lot of those standards are just being taught. Similar to literacy, we have math teachers, which are through the Primary Promise at selected school. Their focus is to work with kinder through 2nd and some 3rd grade students and building what we call the numeracy skills. Just like literacy has foundational reading skills, math has numeracy skills. Students need to understand our base 10 system, how it is that we count to 9 and then switch to 10 and then continue on to a different place value. So that is a very key concept because that would allow our students to count forwards, backwards, add, subtract, with regrouping, without regrouping, but not just to memorize, but understand why that's our system of counting. Also, schools design after school and Saturday school for intervention programs. Especially, we know that math is one of the areas that we know need to grow in our schools. A lot of schools are focusing more alongside with literacy on trying to support our students that are struggling with math, either after school or Saturday. The district has selected a couple of digital apps, and then the schools make a choice from those. One of them is called ST Math. Some of you might know it as Gigi, or it's a little penguin. And then another one is called Zern. So all of our students are able to use the digital apps in school and at home. So if your child needs to practice some math, they should be able to access ST Math or Zern at home. Again, if for some reason you need support or perhaps you are not too familiar with it, the school site is to help you. I would recommend either making an appointment with a teacher or a coordinator that oversees the math program at your school so that they can maybe explain a little bit about each program if you are interested. In terms of professional development for our teachers, we want our teachers to review their data and not just that, but have next steps. What are they going to do with the data? So the pre-test is an indicator of how our students are doing on certain tests, and then they discuss and what they need to work on to ensure that certain aspects in math are focused so that our students can do better on the post-test, and for our 3rd through 5th on the smarter balance, as that is one of the major goals. One big initiative in our schools that we really want, especially our local district, is something called building number fluency. It is a way for students to know conceptually how to manipulate numbers and not just memorize. We don't want students just to memorize the multiplication tables and then one day forget, and then they don't know how to get to that number. So through the number-based fluency program that our schools are using, our students understand why we multiply, and if they forget, how to maneuver or manipulate our number system in order to get to that answer. Lastly, our professional development also focuses on conversations about what we call the solution pathways. So in math, I know some of you may say it's the new math. It's not the new math. It's just a different way of assessing math. It's not just about the answer. So a lot of the tests, they don't care about the answer. Sometimes the question even gives the kids the answers. What they ask is that we want to make sure that our students know the process. How do you get to it? So sometimes the questions are about which procedure would you use to get to this answer? And so we want our teachers to make sure they focus on that. And so parents, if you see that at home, getting the answer is great. We want our students to know math, but also ask them how they did it. How did you do it? That is one way for you as a parent to support your students in understanding how they think about math. So thank you for the time, Megan, and I turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you for walking us through all that information, both Carrie and Ricardo, so quickly for our English language arts. There's so much connected to these goals and the funding and the outcomes. So I appreciate you both explaining these in a way that we can connect to what we see in our schools. Our next, there's 3 pieces to this one goal. So we're still on goal 2. Right? Dr. Paray brought us through goal 1, 100% graduation. Goal 2, we are still here. So we are going to look at our special education population. And I know that just took us to the goal 7 slide, but I'm hoping we can go back and find the slide for our special education students with disabilities. And I would like to introduce Ms. Yolanda Bueno.
This is where the slideshow goes from math to outcome 4. So I don't know if Ms. Bueno brought slides.
Mhm. So for outcomes, it's for outcomes 2, we said.
Yes.
Yes. So for outcomes 2, yeah, just a second. Put it up here.
Thanks everyone for your patience. We always ask your patience with our technology. We have multiple presenters because at Local District Central, we want to make sure to bring you the experts that are doing this work daily with schools. So thank you so much for your patience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So with outcomes 2, we're talking about the proficiency for all students. And so what the division is currently working on is increasing inclusion opportunities for students with disabilities in general education classes. Our goal is 80% of students in general ed, 80% of the time. And so what that would mean is that IEP teams would still come together to talk about the individualized supports for students and bringing the supports to the general education classes so that students can have access to the program with the supports that they need. And so the majority of our students are on core curriculum, which means that they are diploma bound. So it's increasing their access to the general ed setting, you know, along with their peers. The other part of this is also ensuring that students have the services that they need, you know, in order to make progress towards their IEP goals. So providing that overall access, you know, as well as addressing their individual student needs with the services. You know, some students have a variety of services, be it resource services, or there may be other services like speech or OT, which is occupational therapy or physical therapy, or counseling. And so all of these services, the purpose of them is to increase their access to their instructional program. And so these services are meant to provide just that. And so the division, you know, has a lot of supports in place in order to, you know, to ensure that students get those services, and parents are welcome to request those service logs, you know, to look at the frequency and to make sure that it is provided as indicated in the student's IEP. And so as students move into, you know, high school, you know, there's also transition services, you know, for students with disabilities, where a teacher from transition services works with the students. They do inventories, they get them ready for school, they'll do visits, you know, to Job Corps or to different opportunities beyond high school. And students on alternate curriculum may go and see the Career and Transition Center, you know, so that way there is a plan for moving on after high school. And so at the IEP meeting, you know, as the time comes, then the IEP teams will be discussing these as well. And many of our students are also English language learners. And so students that have been long-term English language learners or students with disabilities, you know, the IEP team may also weigh in on their reclassification so that they have opportunities to attend other classes. Okay, and so that is what we're doing in the Division of Special Ed to support the Proficiency for All.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for explaining some of the ways that you and your team and the division are supporting access for all of our students and students with IEPs. There are so many resources, and I know parents at your schools, hopefully you can get that specific information as it relates to your child and their specific IEP goals. Thank you so much. Ms. Bueno, and we can also discuss that in our breakout rooms. I'm so sorry that that information wasn't visual for you to be able to look through as Ms. Bueno was talking. We'll make sure to get the information in there when we share the slides with everyone that will be available. So Ms. Bueno doesn't even need slides. She just knows her stuff. So thank you. I hope that that was comprehensible for everyone. So that is for outcome 2 for our goal 2. And now we are looking at goal 7. So this is outcome 4, goal 7 for English learner supports. And I'm hoping that Mr. Agustin Gonzalez is with us to be able to present this information. We are a little ahead of schedule because we had to flip-flop the report from one of our parent teams. So I'm hoping that he was able to join.
Miss Guerrero, actually our CAC team is here. And I believe they are ready.
Okay, you want to go ahead and do that right now?
Yes.
Okay, that's a great follow-up after hearing from Ms. Bueno anyway, and we will go ahead and do that now. Thanks.
Should I do a stop share screen?
Yes,
Yes,
thank you.
thank you. And Ms. Porter, are you able to share your screen?
I'm giving it a good old college try. Are you
Hi, I'm so
able-
sorry to interrupt, but our presenters are not here yet because they were told 11:10. Let me see.
Are you, okay.
So, okay, so that we should, oh, Mr. Gonzalez is here. Mr.
Okay, we'll flip
Agustin is
back.
here. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you so much.
being, yeah, thank you for being open.
Thank you. Let
Doing
me
a
stop
little
sharing.
gymnastics this morning. All right, are you feeling flexible? I'm feeling flexible. Thank you, everybody. Mr. Gonzalez, welcome, and thank you for joining us. We are being flexible with our schedule, but we are glad you're here to share with us about goal 7. We talked about goal 1, 100% attendance. We went over goal 2 with our outcomes, proficiency for all for English language arts, mathematics, and students with special needs. And we now are moving to goal 7 and talking about English learner supports. Thank you for being with us, Mr. Gonzalez. Take it away.
Everybody, thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. My name is Agustin Gonzalez. I'm the director and dual language here in Local District Central. Actions of LCAP Goal 7 for English learners. So hopefully I can learn, acquire as I've taken on this role. So.
And your sound is going a little bit in and out for me. I'm not sure if that's an experience.
So I'm going to try to use I'm going to take off my AirPods and take those off, because if not, it's just.
That's better. Thank you. Sounds good.
So again,
go back real quick. One slide. Thank you for being flexible. If we could go back one. Again, I'm Agustin Gonzalez, here to review. I'm the Director of English Learners here in Local District Central in dual language. So I'm going to quickly review whatever I can about English learners and the supports we provide them at the school site. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. And we'll be able to help out the best that we can as we learn together about how we support English learners. Next slide. So overview of goal 7, LCAP goal 7 has 38 metrics, each with a 3-year target. There's 5 actions and strategies to reach these targets. 1 base funded action that are intended to support progress for all students, and 4 TSP funded actions that are increasing or improving service to close equity gaps for English learners, low-income students, and students in foster care. So lots and lots of money are being implemented so we could be able to support English learners. What we're looking for in a local district central and as a big district as a whole is how we are very strategic about the funding that we use. And more importantly, what's the residue left behind? If we are investing so much money into it, and this is our LCAP target and our goal, then what is it that the return on the investment is? And that's something that I'm responsible for local district central to ensure that's being used in an equitable and efficient manner. Next slide. Part of this is how we measure progress are with the following metrics. The reclassification rate. English learners who reclassify by grade 5 is huge. I'm going to really point that out for parents to really understand that if a child, they're learning English from kinder or TK through 5th grade, and if they don't reclassify and they're not giving the supports and we're not really trying to provide intervention for English learners to reclassify, when they go to middle school and high school, they have to take, along with the regular English class, as they take content classes, they have to take a designated ELD class. Same amount of time as their section. So if, for instance, if they have a 6-period day, 2 of those classes will be for English and designated ELD along with the other content areas, but it won't allow students to really take some of the elective classes that they need to really try to find themselves and who they are. So it really is important to reclassify by grade 5. That's part of my push, is to help schools out and ensure that they're trying the most effective way to reclassify kids by grade 5. And when they get in middle school and high school, it's still my job to try to support schools. Also, we want to know English learners who progress in English proficiency as measured by LP levels. The way I want you to think about it is when we have in one classroom, we need to really dissect what a student is scoring in their LPAC level, look within and see how close they are from one LPAC level to another. That is called the LP level. When they take that test, and then provide necessary intervention inside the classroom, that's what we call our tier 2 intervention or instruction. Sometimes we'll do it as part of our tier 1. But more importantly, if students are not making progress, then tier 3, what is the one-to-one small group instruction that we're doing to make sure that kids are progressing from LPAC level 1 all the way to LPAC level 4, which will increase their abilities to be eligible and reclassify. And of course, we want as many kids to get a 4 on the summative LPAC, because then it will allow schools to really target their instruction and intervention to reclassify students. Again, the goal is to do it by grade 5. Okay, so that's one thing. I noticed there was a chat in the room, Megan. Is that? I can't, let me see if it's something.
Yes, so there are a couple of messages. So one message, a parent wanted to know if, what is it to be an English learner? What does that mean? Aprendices de inglés. And then is that a good thing or a bad thing? She has a 5-year-old and she wants to know.
Very good question. Muy buena la pregunta. So what happens is when you enroll a child for the first time is they have to fill out a home language survey. On that home language survey, what we're looking for is if a child has had significant exposure to a language other than English. So if you mark off, if a parent marks off on that home language survey that they've had significant exposure to a language other than English, they become what we call an English learner. And it's a great thing, because once we identify English learners, we are able to provide them from kinder through 5th instruction in what we call designated English language development. Even though students have had significant exposure to a language other than English, they will be taught solely in English. But during this designated ELD time, it's very specific to the language they need to be able to pass the summative LPAC and reclassify. It gives them, think of it like ice cream scoops. They get the original ice cream scoop during the language arts section, and then they get another ice cream scoop in their designated English language development section, all taught in English, but really defined to match language, a kid's language, knowing the ability to know how language works, and the basic skills needed for literacy improvement, which is always going to be phonics, phonemic awareness, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. So it's an added dose. So it's a great thing to be able to be identified as an English learner. And if a kid is barely missing by a little bit, say in kinder, they're getting LPAC level 3 with that intervention or good first instruction and target instruction during designated ELD. And also don't forget, they're getting it in their other content areas, science and history, they're getting sentence frames to learn how language works within those content areas. It will help them pass that summative LPAC a lot earlier. And it's easier to pass when it's kinder, first and second. It's when kids struggle later on that we need to provide them targeted, explicit intervention during the day and after school or Saturdays. Next slide. Hopefully I was able to answer that question. So again, to reach these targets, the LCAP includes the following base funded actions. What we have is the multilingual programs and pathways and dual language instruction, dual language education. So many of our schools, especially in local district central, will have multilingual programs and pathways and dual language to meet specific needs. Here in local district central, in dual language, we have 4 different languages being taught. We have Spanish as a target language along with English. We have also Korean, we have Mandarin, and we also have French. And there's a couple schools that offer both Spanish and Korean. The LCAP also includes the following TSP funded actions to close equities gaps: ETK to 12, English Learner Services, international newcomer supports, which is very big. We have a lot of new international students that are coming in. Probable long-term English learners, that is our push right now in terms of my division, is probable long-term English learners are students that have been in the program from 0 to 4 years identified as an English learner. And again, we want to target them because we don't want them to go extended periods of time being an English learner before they go to middle school. Right now, I'm organizing meetings with all the EL designees in all of local district central, and we're providing funding for at promise schools, in which we'll be able to identify schools that have large population of PLTELs, probable long-term English learners, and provide them funding to be able to meet not only with you as a parent, but with the students, so they understand all the processes, all the requirements needed to be able to reclassify. And then the long-term English learner interventions, we know that students have been there for quite a bit amount of time as an English learner. And it's our job to intervene, provide interventions, provide either Saturday support, either after school or within particular blocks in a section if they are, because this only pertains to middle school or high school, is providing a tutoring class within the sections to be able to provide them the abilities to pass the summative LPAC and reclassify and take an elective or a class needed to be able to graduate. Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. Back up one slide. In the chat, I forgot, and we'll open it up to any comments. Type what of these actions you would like to learn more about. Is there anything, Ms. Saint Amant, that is in the chat that I'm able to answer? Online tutoring, that will be school site, right?
I'm going to go ahead and answer those in the chat. Arvik has some great questions about some of the applications and things. I'm going to go ahead and answer those in the chat. I know they were asking for your contact information, so maybe you can drop that in the chat. And there are also some questions of how this ties to our foster youth, and we're going to get to those in our breakout sessions as well. So folks are dropping their particular actions in the chat as well that they'd like to talk about. And thank you so much, Mr. Gonzalez.
No, thank you, Megan. And it's always a pleasure to be here, especially with the parents. I'm here to support you. I'm putting my cell phone in there. So if you call me, I'll try to answer. If I don't answer, please just drop me a text and I'll try to answer the questions that I can or give you as much information as I can to help support your children. It's all about our kids, especially our English learners, to be able to reclassify them. Thank you and have a great rest of your day.
Awesome. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Ms. Sainamont. We're going to get into our breakout room so that we can capture your feedback and questions, parents. This is really the heart of the work we want to do together today, because we demonstrate our learning and our knowledge when we have a chance to talk, share, and teach others about this information. We've been talking a lot. We want to give you an opportunity to share, and then we want to also have time for our CAC report. So Ms. Sainamont, thank you.
I'm looking, may I speak with, I think our folks are here. I see Ms. Sweeney, I see Ms. Porter. Might we have some time for?
I think they are scheduled to be after 11:10. So I think we should get into our breakouts. I think we need a chance to talk and process, and then we'll have that report at the end.
Okay.
Just
All
my
No
3
worries.
cents.
All right, can we go to the next slide, please? So as I said earlier in our presentation, we talked in our thought exchange, you're going to be asked, what changes do you recommend that the district should make to the LCAP to continue to support all students and close equity gaps? But before we go to our thought exchange, we are going to be getting together in breakout rooms. Next slide, please. So in the breakout rooms, the question that you want to, before we give feedback and ideas about what might need to change, we're going to talk about what are some programs, workshops, and services that are already available at our schools. What things might need to change? What are some things that are working well? What are some things that might need to change? In our with PACE, we usually say, what are some of the glows, like what's working well, and what are some of the grows? And you want to think about that same thing at the community of schools level, as well as the local district and central level. Next slide, please. So as we have our conversations, we want to make sure that we are ready to to work together and to have conversations together. And I believe that earlier on, Mr. Aguilar spoke about having these norms or these rules for around conversation. So we want to make sure that we take time to pause and to listen, to paraphrase if we're not sure about what's been said, or to just affirm what someone else has said. Remember to step up and put your ideas on the table, as well as to pose questions. We want to also make sure that we're paying attention to ourselves and others, and making sure that everybody has the space to participate in the conversation, that it's not dominated by just one person. We also are going to be providing data if you have data to support your ideas, and then presuming positive intentions. We are working together, and everybody is here together to make sure that our students are successful and achieve. All right, next slide, please. So in your breakout rooms, you're going to be reviewing goals 1, 2, and 7 to better understand them. You're going to be sharing ideas about strengths and suggested changes. And then we're going to be recording those ideas in our thought exchange. Okay, and you'll be doing that individually. All right, and then next slide, please. So I believe we're just about ready to go to our breakout rooms.
Okay, great. I'm going to open them up. We have assigned you to a room based on language if you indicated English or Spanish. If I assigned you to the wrong language room, please just leave that room. come on back to this main session and we can figure out where the right spot is for you. We have some rooms that are gonna be discussing and asking questions just in English and some just in Spanish. So we want to make sure that you are in the right spot. So let me go ahead and open up the rooms and come on back. If I put you in the wrong spot, I am sure that there will be some rearranging that we need to make, but I'm gonna open these up.
And one other thing I'd like to add before everybody goes, that in the chat, I will add the open data and the LCAP website, so that if you're wanting to actually look at some data, you can explore the data that way too. So I'll put that in the chat so that everybody can have access to that.
Great. Go ahead and accept your breakout room invitation. And again, come on back if you are not in the right spot. And I have a few unassigned that might be part of our CAC. Angela, Myrna, would you like to be assigned to a breakout room?
Myrna is part of our CAC,
Okay.
Megan. So it's JP, Ingrid Levy, and
Good morning. How's everyone?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Hi there. All right. Good morning. Good morning. So glad to see you all here. We have a couple of our there we go. Great. So I'm going to share my screen now. I will be sharing the actions that we're going to be discussing, and before we go into the thought exchange. But before we get started, I just wanted to say my name is Cyrene Sainama, and I am the parent and community engagement coach for the Glassell Park Los Feliz community of schools. I work with Local District Central, and so I also want to hand it off to Ms. Liz Hernandez.
Hi, everybody. I'm Liz Hernandez, and I'll be taking notes. So be kind of brief, and I can start writing down.
Right. So I just want to let everybody know we are going to have the opportunity to go to our to the thought exchange, and in that thought exchange, you'll have the opportunity to actually add your own ideas. But just to get things started, making sure that you are able to access and remember the actions that we're going to be discussing. So I wanted to know if everybody is comfortable. Hi, Ms. Guerrero, how's everything?
Good. Julia said she needed help. Is she in the right spot?
Julia, are you in the right? This is going to be conducted in English. Sorry.
Okay.
Julia, so if you're able to unmute and just say hello, that would be great.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Just to see and if you're not able to unmute, you can also put your information in the chat.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well.
Yes. Okay. All right, Ms. Ramirez. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're in this breakout session will be in English. And so I just wanted to make sure that everybody was clear about that. And let me make sure I have the right slides open. There we go. All right, what do you see right now? You actually are seeing the LCAP. Are you able to see the final LCAP study group session slides? If you can,
Yes.
just give me a thumb up there. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to flip on to. Give me a thumb up there. Okay, so I'm going to flip on to.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Anybody can hear me?
Morning. There's a little bit of an echo. There's a little bit of an echo.
I don't know if it's me. My name is Marta Ramirez from Aragon.
Oh, hi, Miss Marie.
Oh, hi.
Ramirez.
Hi, I'm sorry I got interrupted by a TA and I got lost, so I don't know where I am right now. That's why I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay, so right now we're here discussing the actions for 100% graduation, proficiency for all, and the actions for English learner supports. And we'll be
I was
conducting.
in, I was in, but they took me out of the group, or maybe I moved something.
Did you want to be in English or Spanish?
English is fine.
Okay, so then you're in the right place. You're exactly where you need to be. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. We have our action. So just to get things started, what are some of the programs and services at your school that are that apply to the 100% graduation? Are there any programs that you want that stand out for you? Are there any programs that you feel like or maybe you heard something you thought that you would like to see more of at your school? So either way, we can do the glows and we can do the grows.
We have, sorry to interrupt you. We have Julia Khan, she's a Spanish. Julia, ¿puede salirse del grupo para que la pongan en uno en español? Este lo van a conducir solo en inglés. So puede ir al lado derecho para que... disculpe yo. Ok, gracias.
Let me see if I can move her. So Julie can. So let me see.
Dolores also.
I'll move her. And who else?
Dolores.
Dolores. Okay. Thank you. All right. And then we have Emma Seda. We're going to be discussing in English. Is that going to work for you? If you're not able to unmute, you can also type it in the chat and someone will let us know. All righty. So we were, you know what, we were kind of focusing on one of these goals, but actually let's just open it up. What do you want to discuss? What is something that you want to know more about? What is something that you have questions about? What is something that you have concerns about at your school? Can you see the chat? Okay, I can see the chat.
So Cyrene, maybe to start off the conversation, and hopefully it doesn't take too much time, for those of us who are new to this, maybe doing a quick review of what these options are and these supports.
I'm thinking one of the things I actually would like to do, just to get us started, maybe just to show what the thought exchange looks like, and to be able to just see what they're able to do when they get there. And how about we do that? So let me get to the, hold on. So yeah, so I want to take a look at the thought exchange. And also we have that open data information that I think is just really what everybody wants to see. It really is the kind of the heart of what we've been talking about. Are you able to see the thought exchange? Good. Right now. Here we go. I have some things in my way. So when you click the link for the thought exchange, this is what you'll see. And that question, LCAP study groups, what changes do you recommend? So if there are things that you would like to see improve at your school, or some things that you feel are going really well. I see that someone said in the chat that everything is great, everything is good. Great. Go ahead and add that in, go ahead and share that on the thought exchange, okay? So this is how it's going to work. There's an introduction, you'll answer a question, and then you share your thoughts, and then you get an opportunity to look at what other people are saying too. All right, so if you also, it's available in other languages. You can translate it. There's a section on the page. I don't think you can see it right here. I'll try to expand the page, but you're able to choose a language as well. Okay, and so there are just some kind of base rules, be respectful, and letting you know that this information is going to be shared with.
Is this something that you share on the main room?
Yes, it's a
Okay,
link from the main room.
we won't have it here. You will need to reshare it on the group.
Oh, okay, let me do this really quickly. Okay, you don't have to go here just right now, but you can. Let's see if I can get my little controls back. I'll put it in toward the end, okay?
Well, I guess to start the conversation, I can say something. Okay, I think one of the things that we really need to change in our schools to have 100% graduation rate is to have more counselors in our schools. At least in my school, I know at Santee, it's like 1,800 students. And if we only have like, one per grade, one for the special education, one for the English learners, and it's too many students for one counselor, so they can, they can keep up with each one. I think we really need more counselors in our schools to provide better services to our students, and better guidance in that aspect. I know there's like a lot of I know for sure Santee has so many programs to help the students, like after school programs, staff online, but it's not just that. It's they really need somebody to guide them, so they can be motivated to graduate.
Right. So I'm hearing that the way that this idea of more counselors relates to achievement is that they can get better guidance and make better choices for their future, right? Is what you're and also help them get through the classes that they need to have in order for them to be successful in whatever they're choosing to do. Did I get that right? Is that kind of what you're going for?
Yes, that is right. Yes.
Yeah. So
that's something that I've noticed, and I've learned through these times. I never knew we only had one counselor per year, per grade. So now that I started like going to meetings and learning these things, I think it's way too much for our students. Another thing was that I've learned from one of the teachers is that the smaller classrooms. Less students per classroom. Yeah, the class size. I heard this teacher saying that, well, my son has a honors class. So his class is like 15 students, So I was like, wait, you have only 15 students? And he's like, yeah, because it's an honor class. But I have another class where I don't even have like I like, if you see, I have like different chairs, like not matching chairs, because when the whole class shows up, like there's nowhere for them to sit. So he was talking about, I think, 39 students. And to me, that was like, wow, like 39 students fit in this room. How do you do it, you know? And it was kind of an eye opener for me to really push for that in our classrooms.
Yeah, that sounds like an equity issue as well. So, and we, you know, I'm not sure if that is a similar, that other parents are experiencing similar issues with the number of people in the classroom, of the number of students per adult in the classroom. But those are issues that can definitely affect the achievement of our students, right? And so those are definitely concerns to share in the chat, you know. And as Carlos says, a good counselor does make a difference in a student's life. And we're talking about numbers, you know, the number of counselors to students, the number of teachers to students. We all want that, you know, personal and that individual support for our students, and it's really hard to do when there's so many. So yeah. And you also kind of mentioned a little bit about facilities too, the number of chairs even available to students in a classroom. So Miss Munira, how are you today?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Wonderful. What school does your child attend?
My child attend on Foshe Learning Center.
Foshe, okay.
Yeah, also I have another child go to the one Hoover in 51st Street
Yes.
Elementary School. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, and so you have students at elementary and at the secondary level.
Yes.
Mhm. And so what are some of the programs or services that you like to see more of at your school, or any changes that you would be interested in seeing? Liz?
Yeah. My child's school actually offer all that you guys saying, like tutoring and English learner. They have all this program. But I mean, my kids doing at school, they're very good, and you know their grades are great. So it been long time. I asked for one of my son, you know, the school. I asked them, he needs tutoring, and the teacher told me he doesn't need it because he's doing great. You know, she told me that. But I mean, they're doing good. Also, I'm helping them doing every day. You know, with their assignments and readings and everything. You know, everything I could help them. I'm supporting them every day, and yeah.
Yeah, having that parental engagement comes in a lot of different
Yes.
a lot of different aspects, and being engaged and keeping up with what's going on in the classroom, that is definitely, and with your child is definitely one of those things that we look for. How do you think they're able to accomplish all of the things that are going on at your child's school? What do you think that how are they able to do that? What makes them stand out?
I mean, they're doing great. Always, if I need support or if I need help, I ask the teacher. I ask, you know, I go to the office and ask the principal or assistant principal. I'm talking, you know, if I have some concern with my child or what they need to be improved, or you know, those kind of things. I always go and ask. They're helping me a lot, and you know, we communicate a lot with the teacher and the staff, you know, the principal, especially with the teacher. When I pick them up, I always talk to the teacher, you know, how they doing in the class, do they need help, and you know, well, I'm checking also parent portal every day, their, their assignments, grades, and, attendance, and
So it
yeah.
sounds like you're very attentive to things. How does the school reach out to you though, or are the teachers reaching out to you?
Not really. I'm the one reaching out, the teacher. But like I say, if, for example, last time one of my son is tardy for 1 minute. He go to restroom and, they make him tardy he late for 1 minute. And I go and ask, the attendance office. Also, the school call you like, it's not a person, but it's like a robot, like computers.
Yes.
And they say, oh, your child is absent or tardy. You have to bring a reason, this. You have to tell why he's, And then I go to attendance office and I ask, sorry, let me charge my phone. The battery is low. And they say, he go to restroom, he's 1 minute late. And I ask, why you guys make him, for 1 minute late? And they say, this is a dependent, some teacher, they do tardy for 1 minute, the other teacher, they don't do. But I cannot change it anything, but this kind of thing, at least they have to give excuse for, at least for, 1 minute is not, I don't agree with them, but I cannot change it, they make him tardy for 1 minute. But they, if something happen, anything, they school let us know, right away. And if if he miss a class or something like that, I like that because this, also I, as a parent, I want to know why he's late in the class, those kind of thing. But yeah.
It sounds like you're taking a lot of responsibility for communication.
For the discussion, here we go. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I know there's never enough time to be able to discuss and share your ideas, but I would like to turn it right over to Mr. John Perrin, who is going to introduce the Community Advisory Committee. Welcome. You are muted.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Megan. Thanks for having us today, and also thanks for making the adjustments with the time. It's appreciated very much. Today, we're having the LAUSD Community Advisory Committee, also known as the CAC, give a presentation, and it's an introductory. We have today Miho Murai and Myrna Sweeney, who are going to be giving the presentation. Take it away.
I'm not sure where Myrna is. Is she there? Don't see her. Is she? Oh, there she is. Myrna?
Yes.
Go ahead.
First, remember?
Hi, my name is Myrna Sweeney, and I am a parent of a high school student who has an IEP. And my interest in the CAC was to help support families in the district with and families who have children with IEPs. Thank you for having us.
And good morning. My name is Miho Murai, and I'm a community member of the Community Advisory Committee. I'm also currently the Training and Education Officer and the co-chair of our IEP Training Subcommittee. Although I'm not a parent with a child with an IEP, I joined the CAC because I used to be a bilingual elementary school teacher with LAUSD in the late 1990s, and I saw how many children were struggling and not being provided with the education that they needed to succeed. As a result, I became a special education attorney advocating on behalf of children with special needs since 2008. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to share with all of you more about the CAC. Can I go to the next slide, please? Okay, so we wanted to just kind of first start out with just asking everybody to rate themselves. So if everybody could put in the chat on a scale of 0 to 5, how much do you know about the Community Advisory Committee? 0 is if you've never ever heard about our CAC, and 5 is if you know a lot about the CAC. So if everybody could put it in the chat, that would be great. And I see some people putting 2 zeros. I'm assuming this is being translated, right? So I don't need to speak in Spanish. Okay.
That's correct. Yes, we have simultaneous. Yeah.
También yo puedo hablar en español. So si usted tiene una pregunta, usted puede preguntar a mí.
It is being translated. I saw a 5. I saw a 5 pop up there. And some zeros.
Okay, so it looks like we have, wow, we have a very active chat, which is great. Okay, so I see some zeros, I see some 5s. Ana Carrion, oh, I recognize her. I think she was on the CAC last year. And then we have a 4, and we have zeros and a 2. So again, thank you so much for allowing us the space to share with parents about the CAC. So I just wanted to kind of talk about what we do. So the CAC is one of 3, I'm so sorry, one of 3 committees that are run by the parents as a central district committees. And they're guided by the California Education Code and the CAC bylaws. And we're made up. Oh, I'm sorry. So what we do is we advise on the development of the special education local plan, which provides all special education services within the district's geographical boundaries. We're made up of 32 members and 10 alternates appointed by the LAUSD Board of Education. And we welcome new people to please apply for the CAC. You don't have to have, you can be like me and not have not to be a parent of an IEP, but just really care about this issue. And then we're guided by the CAC bylaws and California Education Code 56190 through 56154. And we are passionate individuals who care deeply about students with special education needs. Next slide, please. And so, like I said, we are made up of 32 members. And they comprise of a variety of people. So we have the majority of our CAC is parents with students with students with disabilities. And then we also have parents of students in general education programs. So for example, if you're out there and you don't have an IEP, but you are interested in special education, and you can come and join our committee. And then we have individuals concerned with the needs of students with special disabilities. So that's kind of what I am in terms of I'm a community member. So again, what happened to the slides?
My apologies, one moment.
Okay. Okay. Next slide. Okay, all right. So we are individuals concerned with the needs of students with disabilities. And then, so like I said, if any members here are really interested in special education, want to learn more, we encourage you to come to our meetings and then maybe apply to be on their committee next year. And then we have regular and special education teachers and other school personnel on our committees. And we have public and private agencies that are right now. I think we currently have somebody from the South LA Regional Center. And then we have adults with disabilities. So we're trying to be very comprehensive. And the most important thing is that we have students with disabilities. So we really, because we are all fighting for the best, the free appropriate public education for students, it's really important that we get input from the students on what they would like us to do. Next slide, please. All right, and then lastly, we have several subcommittees. And so right now we have the Parent Ambassador Subcommittee, which is the reason why we're here. We want to share you guys the wonderful work that we're doing. And then we have the Training and Education Subcommittee, which we combined this year with the IEP training. And then next year, or we have other committees, which is the planning, monitoring, and evaluation, which monitors, which is going to be a group of committee members that assist with monitoring the SELPA. And then we have a legislative committee that we also started up. And then we have the bylaws committee. And now I'm going to pass it over to Myrna.
You're muted, Myrna.
Sorry about that. For the past 2 years, the CAC has been working with Parent and Community Services to create a parent ambassador program to implement throughout LAUSD. CAC parent ambassadors receive training and support from the district. They will work collaboratively with school sites to build the special education community, empower parents, and most importantly, ensure excellent services and supports for every student. Our hope is to create two-way communication opportunities between the district and all administrators and advocates. This would build trust by offering transparency and support so that the focus remains on providing what students need to access their education. Next slide, please. We would love for your school community to join our monthly meetings so that they can learn more about special education and the supports available for their students. Translation is also available, so language will not be a barrier. All meetings are public and recorded, so if you can't join live, there is a recording posted on the website of all past meetings. Meetings are hybrid, so you can join in person and or on Zoom by coming to the Parent and Community Services offices. There is a schedule there on the screen, but also visiting the website, you can get the schedule of when our meetings are. We also have agenda planning meetings, subcommittee meetings, and monthly meetings. And again, all are welcome. Next journey, please. I'm sorry, next slide. So how can you empower the families? Invite parent ambassadors to your coffee with the principals, your ELAC committees, your SEC meetings, any meetings that parents are attending so that we can present and introduce ourselves to help advocate and support for the students in their communities. Host a CAC virtual training watch party. Post CAC flyers on your website and share with your APEIS teachers, SEC, ELAC, and PTA. As we know, PTA is very important to school sites, and presenting to families who may not be able to participate in other meetings, it would be beneficial so that way we can help to empower and support those families. The next slide, please. Any questions? We're open for questions at this time. You can either unmute or put a question in the chat.
You have a hand raised and a carry on.
Anna has her, yes. So
go ahead, Miss Ana.
Oh, disculpen, es que estaba moviendo los iconos. Mi comentario es.
So my comment is, it's very good that CAC is interacting with us. In fact, Ms. Mijo said 1 año, and I've been a member for 5 years at the Central District, and we at Manual Arts, we told the parent leaders that we will reestablish a committee at Manual Arts for education, for special education. We will have our parents, we will have our first meeting mid-December. We want to invite these parents at a school level, and we want them to be part of this. They're English learner parents as well, and low-income parents. And I believe that we are beginning to implement. We want to open a new committee at a school level, and we want to close equity gaps with the students and support parents. And I believe that we are doing a great beginning establishing this committee. And we invite you and everyone from CAC, Mr. John Perron. We want to invite you three to join us on the first meeting, and we would like for you to be part of this meeting. We want you to have this interaction with parents directly, and we want you to see if maybe this is a beginning so other schools can start implementing, and for parents to have a voice, special need parents to have a voice.
So yeah, I will respond. I mean, that's amazing that you're doing that, Anna. I think that's been on the radar for when JP was the parent ambassador last year. That is definitely something that, you know, I know Rocio really spoke out about it, like establishing committees at each school. So it's really great that you're doing it, and we would love to participate. If you want to put your information, if one of the CAC members can put their information, they can contact maybe JP, if you could put your info at contact you, or I speak Spanish too, so you can put mine.
El distrito local tiene mi información.
Local district has my information, and they can't. And if you ask for it, I authorize for my information to be given to you.
Okay, so we'll coordinate with whoever's in charge of this meeting. I'm so sorry, I just kind of hopped on in.
That's
but
okay.
So Megan, if you
Great.
don't mind, if you can share us her info, and thank you again, Anna. We would love to participate in the first meeting, and hopefully you can actually lead the way for other schools to do the same thing you're doing. So is there any other questions?
Otras preguntas?
One thing I do want to say is that even if you're not on CAC, we are, like, all of our meetings are open, and so we always have public comments in our meetings, and so it's really, really important, even if you're not on the CAC, if you do have something to share, to please come out to our meeting. And I will be kind of talking about when our next meeting is, but and also especially with our subcommittee meetings, right now we have the parent ambassadors and we have the IEP training, and you can just learn a lot about you know, we don't just, you know, we talk about, we even have like a training about LCAP. So there's a lot of things that you can learn about. And also, even if maybe it doesn't impact your family, you might know a family that may have it. So any other questions?
Wonderful. Thank you. And maybe if you guys can stick around, if there's any other questions, they can pop them in the chat, and then
we're not quite done.
Okay, sorry.
It's okay. We're almost done. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. We really want to be respectful of Megan's time. So thank you, Megan. And we will definitely share this PowerPoint with everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I put the Facebook page link in the chat.
Okay, just to quickly wrap up, this is just a flyer of all of our meetings. Our next meeting is on November 30th,
November 16th.
November 16th. I know, okay. November 16th, 2022. It's at 10 a.m. And here's the flyer with the contact of our information. And our next Parent Ambassador Subcommittee meeting is January 11, 2023 at 10 a.m. We're not having a meeting in December. And next slide, Mirna. Oh, do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Myrna, if you could do this real quickly so we can give the meeting back.
Okay, if you can give yourself a grade about how much, about the CAC, place a number from 0 to 5 in the chat. If you don't know anything, or you know a lot about the CAC, what you've learned during this presentation would highly be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And again, if you guys have questions, feel free to show up to our next meeting on November 16th, and please reach out to us. And I see Gabriela's hand is raised.
And thank you. I see some growth, some pre and post test growth in the chat. So thank you for bringing this information to us. Many folks would like more information. So I hope that you all will reach out and get the the information in order to follow up. It's really important. So thank you. We just have a couple of final announcements, just for folks who are sticking around a little bit after our closing time, and then we'll get to any questions at the end for anyone who wants to stay behind. But let's get to those. Just a few announcements, some things going on here in Local District Central, and we want to make sure that everyone shares their ideas on the Thought Exchange platform as well. Getting back to those slides. Awesome. Thank you, CAC, for being here with us today. Really appreciate you sharing with us. Awesome. All right, we're getting back to, I know folks have had internet issues today. There's a lot going on here, and I appreciate you sticking with us. So we got into our breakouts, reviewing our goals. We want to hear from you. Ms. Saint Amant, I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to you to wrap us up.
Okay, I believe it was Alex who are going to maybe take these slides. You know what? Actually, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you who are still here with us. And this is our QR code. We talked about the sharing your feedback with us. So this is a wonderful opportunity to do that. This is the QR code here that's available, and then also the link. I wonder if someone might be able to copy that link and share it again with our family so that they can provide the feedback that we're so wanting to hear from you. We learned a lot today about all of our goals that we discussed. We discussed proficiency for all. That was goal 2. We discussed 100% graduation. And we got information also about English learner support. So please make sure that you're able to give us your feedback about these goals, any ideas you have for services and programs. We had a wonderful discussion in our breakout room about additional counselors, lower class sizes, all of those things that impact instruction. So please give us your feedback. Next slide. So we know that you are the leaders at your school. Please make sure that you share what you've learned here. And we have that triple track agenda here in Local District Central. You get some information here, and then you share it with others. So please make sure that you share with other families at your school. Next slide, please. Our next meeting is today is November 9th. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 13th at 9:30 through 11 o'clock. We'll be discussing excellent attendance, school safety and climate, and the Black Student Achievement Plan. So please join us 9:30 to 11:30, Tuesday, December 13th. Next slide, please. All right, these are our LCAP resources. All of these resources that we've discussed today are going to be added to this bit.ly that you see down below. The LCAP 22 resources are everything that you see here will be English and Spanish. So any link that you may have missed early on, we'll make sure that's added to the resources slide soon. You'll also be able to access the slides for this presentation in that bit.ly link. All right, next slide, please. All right, so we have many ways for our families to engage. We have our Family Academy. We have with PCS, we also have our district committees that you've learned a little bit more about today. Our CAC, our DLAC, and our PAC. So please make sure that you take some time to explore the website, the PCS website. I think I have that link saved here. I'm going to try to put that in. Yeah, here we go. So please go ahead and take opportunities to engage with our Family Academy. You were interested in that Family Ambassador. You'll find more information out about those two programs here on the PCS, or the Parent and Community Services website. Next slide, please. All right, so we just invite you to come to our Tech Talks most Wednesdays. We have one coming up today, and you'll see a flyer for that coming up. We have our Human IT program, and then also our Family Empowerment. You'll get more information about that on our resources for this meeting. Next slide, please. Also, we have
This is actually for Elizabeth. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Thank you. All right.
Take it away.
Thank you. So we have a tech talk today for you regarding personal finance. It is going to be presented by Mr. Juan Manuel Lopez España, who's formerly with the Mexican consulate. He has presented for our tech talks and more in the past. And the presentation will be in Spanish translated to English, but it's about personal finance. You'll find it interesting. Lots of tips for all of us. So we hope to see you there. And then we ask you to join us next Wednesday. We're going to have a presentation by the Mexican consulate on the resources they have available for community members in Los Angeles. Also, too, next Friday, we have the English Learner Study Group. It's our first session, Friday, November 18th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. You may take a screenshot of that now if you'd like. The topic is reclassification, and we are inviting all of our English learner parents of English learners, and a special shout out to our delegates who were elected to represent ELAC at the convening. So we look forward to seeing you next Friday at 10 a.m. for the first English Learner Study Group. We are having 5 meetings this year for our English learner parents that are designed to give you a deeper understanding about English learner topics. So there'll be 2 tech talks and 3 study groups, at the end of which, for those of you who attend all of them, you'll get a certificate of participation. So we look forward to seeing you next Friday for the first session at 10 a.m. Thank you, and I'll hand it back to Miss Irene.
Okay, so thank you so very much for sticking with us. We appreciate all of the learning that we were able to accomplish today. In addition to that, we want to just a special thank you to our community advisory committee members who shared their information with us, and we see a lot of interest. So thank you so much for being here today. If you want to get in contact with us, here is our contact information. I am the parent and community engagement coach for the Glassell Park Los Feliz Community Schools, and I also support Eagle Rock and Highland Park while Mr. Duarte is in the classroom. We also have our other coaches from Javier Contreras at downtown MacArthur Park, Historic Central Avenue in Sola as Alex Campbell, Koreatown Pico Union, Elizabeth Lomeli, and Manual Arts Vermont Square, Vilma Mansol. I also want to give a wonderful thank you to our administrator, Megan Guerrero, and our community reps at the local district, Sono and Norma Gutierrez. Thank you so much, everyone. And please join us next time for our next meeting. If you want more information about the LCAP, we'll put the link in the chat again. I want to also let you know that the bit.ly link for the resources for this meeting will be updated by the end of by tomorrow morning. You'll have the updates for all of the links that we presented today. So thank you.
Irene, sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
We have a parent, Gabriela Rangel, who's put her hand up several times.
Yes, we're going to get to her, and I messaged her in the chat. Yes, thank you. Yes.
Right.
So Irene, are you done? And we'll make sure that
those are my thoughts. I was going to hand off to you.
Okay, I just want to, the meeting is
thank you.
officially over. Thank you, everyone. But I did want to recognize at least a cyber hand is less tiring than holding up your real hand. So, señora Rangel, adelante.
Sí, gracias. Buenas tardes.
Yes, good afternoon. I just want to say that there are some topics that have been said in the past 2-3 years, and I believe it's time for us to take action on the plan. We don't need to remind and keep saying the same thing over and over. We need more action. We need to instrument everything that has been said, because in reality, time is just passing us by and students are losing benefits. Therefore, we are here for the benefit of the students, and we need to see more results on your behalf so that because students are waiting for us. Students are waiting for your action. Please, I ask that we take action in this plan because it's been too long. Thank you.
Gracias. Gracias. Are there any other additional comments or questions for our group? I know, thank you for staying with us. Any of our PAC members who would like to wrap up any additional comments? I will go ahead and keep the meeting open for now. If there's anything additional, I know I see Mr. Aguilar still here, Mr. Lorza, Mr. Courtney. Any final comments?
I'm sorry, can you please put up the PowerPoint where it has the link to, oh, they put it on the thing. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. Oh, Ms. Hernandez, there you are.
Yes, just really quick. Well, it seems like, you guys, from what I just heard from the other parent, it seems like there's been a plan going on, but a lot of us are like pretty much new to it and we're learning. So if there's something that you guys already have, like a draft of some type of plan, it would be very nice if if it's shared with all of us, so we can catch up with it and, put up maybe some more ideas into it and, maybe take it into action. Like she says, yeah, our kids, are just waiting to have these resources or anything that is needed in our schools. But it's also important for us as new people here, right? To be aware of what has been, already talked about. And so we can catch up and also put our little feedback and help out to just go through with it.
Thank you for adding that, right? We're all entering this process at different points. And so to try to provide it all in one space is difficult, right? That's what we ask our teachers to do, right? To differentiate that instruction, which is so important. Thank you for sharing that. We can get a better snapshot of our group. Mr. Aguilar?
Yeah, I'm not going to take too long. Just wanted to, what you said, Ms. Hernandez, resonates. And I think it's two parts, right? What is the challenge to us who are new and participating in this space, to listen to our fellow parents in their concerns and bring those concerns forward. But at the same time, the challenge is for other parents and new parents. I see, we had great participation today, for parents to step up and make their voices be heard. Today was, yesterday was election day, right? And the whole message was make your voice count, make your voice count, make your voice be heard, because then, what can we say, right? When things don't go the way that we're trying to get them to go in the direction we want them to. So the invitation is out there to all the parents. Get involved and let's work. If there's stuff that is lagging, let's work together, figure out how we move that forward. There's plenty of us that are new here who have that energy and the desire to push things forward. And we have a great team with Ms. Guerrero and the folks at the Central that really are making that extra effort. And we're doing the same. So please stay involved. Please do not get frustrated. Let's move this forward. Right now, we have a great opportunity to reset and make a new path forward.
And do you mind, Mr. Aguilar, just kind of summing that up in Spanish as well? I think we wore out our welcome with our translation. We are like way over time.
Thank Ms. Grisel. Thank you, Ms. Figueroa. I did
Yes.
not get, I usually.
Absolutely,
thank
no
you.
worries.
Thank you so much. And also thank you, our ASL interpreter as well. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Definitely
Thank you for
interpreters
having us. Thank you.
is a very special field and much respect to them.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Bueno, lo que yo quería compartir para finalizar esta sesión es reconocer la frustración y las preocupaciones que se han puesto en esta sesión. Pero también quiero dar ese reto para nosotros. Hay personas nuevas como yo que queremos y tenemos el interés y las ganas de seguir todas estas metas que no solo se queden en papel, pero que se puedan actualizar y moverse para adelante. Y no queremos que se frustren los compañeros que ya han estado en este proceso y da mucho ánimo saber de que había mucha representación ahora y ahora el reto es para nosotros como padres de seguir participando, de seguir involucrados para mover todo esto que ya no sea solo metas en papel, pero que sean metas en actualización, porque así van a mejorar las condiciones para nuestros niños en nuestras escuelas. Así que les invitamos que sigan involucrados y que así como estábamos diciendo para el voto, su voz es su voto, su voz es su voto, su voz y su participación vale mucho en este espacio. Gracias.
Thank you. Muchas gracias a todos que se quedaron aquí con nosotros. Yo entiendo y ustedes los padres que han estado dando sus opiniones, su tiempo.